Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the PhinManiacs PodCast. Jason Sarney here, and we are going through a terrific growth here at PhinManiacs.com, and I'm bringing on two of our newest writers. First, we're going to go with Ron Hyatt, who we're going to welcome aboard from out west. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
You got it anytime. Ron's been doing some terrific player profiles for us. He actually has an excellent piece really diving deep into the nose tackle position, that real question mark, so to speak, on the defensive line right now. We'll get into that in a moment. But right now, to welcome in Jorge Hinojosa. How are you, Jorge?
Hi, Jason. It's great to be here. Very excited to be a part of this podcast now.
Awesome. And we're glad to have you. Love the shirt. Anytime I can see an old school Dolphin logo, it really is very close to my heart. And Jorge, you're going to be doing a lot of great and fun stuff for us, which we'll touch on throughout the show. And of course, towards the end of the show, we'll give you an opportunity to let everyone know a little bit of a kind of surprise what we have in store for the folks out there. So without further ado, Ron, I want to bring you back, and I want to give you an opportunity to kind of let everybody know where you've been, what you've been up to, and what makes covering the Dolphins so enjoyable for you.
Yeah, I've been just in California. I've traveled a little bit, but I'm just here in California. I'm a single dad. And so I just work, do the parenting, and I've always fascinated with the Dolphins, and I started writing about, I'd say, 18 months ago, and then I did last season with the Dolphins Talk.
Very good.
But I've always followed the draft. I've always had my own mock drafts, even when Mel Kiper first started and all that stuff. So I follow the team really, really well.
You'll be doing a lot of those scouting for us. You'll be doing a lot of the player profiles. And you have an article out there about the nose tackle position, which I really implore everyone to go read. It really dives deep into, which players might fit well, and if the Dolphins did a good job of using those draft assets to fill that, depth chart up with that specific position on the line. So, Ron, further ado, what else could you say about that piece?
It's just – I like the position. I understand Flores' system a little bit. The nose is important. You go back to when Flores was with the Patriots, and they had Seymour and those guys in the center. And I forgot the one guy's name, but he went to the Texans for a while after he left.
Vince Wilfork.
There you go. Yeah, Wilfork. It makes the team defense easier when you have this you call the space eater in the middle. And I just feel like right now that we kind of skipped on that, and we're going to put Godchow in there, and he did it in college, but that's not his best position in my opinion.
I agree.
So just for our listeners, just for our listeners to understand what Ron's talking about, the nose tackle is the defensive player that aligns directly over the center in a 34 alignment. So when you've got three linemen, the nose tackle, or the space eater, as Ron mentioned, is that guy that's going to be responsible for both of the gaps to the side of the center. And sorry, Ron, just wanted to make sure all the listeners knew what you were talking about.
No problem. Yeah, I should have covered that, because like right now we play Sealer filled in when Godchow got hurt, and we played straight up nose, which is head over, nose to the center. And then there's what they call shade. You can go either right or left of his shoulder. It's like a one on the A gap on either side. And Godchow, he does good at it, but he, in my opinion, he's a better 3-tech, which is
Absolutely.
a standard 4-3 defensive tackle. And he can play some 5-tech, which is the 34D end, and maybe a little bit of the 4-tech. But in my opinion, his best position is the 3-tech.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Ron. And tell me if you agree. But I think the pieces that we have on the defensive line, especially, fit more a 43 defense than a 34 defense. And the way that Brian Flores and the Dolphins use that defense, which is very hybrid, sometimes, and I think, and we're going to talk about it a bit later, but that's why the teams are having such an easy time against the Dolphins up the middle. There's just no one really there to beat those blocks, and and be able to stop the opposing running back a yard or two away from the yard of scrimmage. We were seeing them run 5 yards on this Dolphins defense.
Yeah, in the first 2 games, it was really bad. We did play Gottschall and Davis as they switched sides, left defensive tackle, right defensive tackle, and we got gashed. And when we moved, I think it was week 4, we moved Raekwon Davis before his injury to more of a nose, and that was his highest, by PFF, his highest graded, was when we gave him some more snaps as a nose tackle instead of the defensive tackle.
Now, Ron, you made a point in the article that with all those assets that the Dolphins used to draft defensive players, they brought in a Benito Jones undrafted, but they did not get another depth-added player in that specific line position. So do you think heading on into a week 9 or, after this week 8 game, the trade deadline, I think November 3rd, do you think the Dolphins make a trade or try to bring in someone who can fill that, knows that right on over the ball, head up against the center position?
Yeah, I have my eye on the wire and stuff and Twitter and everything, seeing what they do. I think what Flores is trying to do right now is he's waiting for those developmental pieces like Raekwon. He's trying to give them a chance to, tread water because they're rookies, him and Benito Jones. They're rookies, so they have high potential, but I feel like we kind of missed a little bit. We could have brought in a veteran leadership because we did in this season. I didn't really touch on it as much as I should have in the article, is the leadership that we brought in at each position. By like bringing in Byron Jones at the corner, that helps solidify the leadership with Xavier on the other side, and leaving Bobby as a safety because he's one of our best vocal leaders, and his communication is top notch, and that's what Flores likes about Bobby McCain, and I do too. But I think Bobby's a little bit better if he's in the slot, but he's doing an amazing second year at free safety right now. He's just unheralded at that. But I feel like the nose, if we would have brought in, even if it's a free agent, to come in and help guide Raekwon adapt to get the feel for the NFL speed, because we're not like, it's not Alabama versus LSU or, those are some good players, but the NFL, everybody's good. If that makes sense.
Ron,
no, you're absolutely right. Jorge, go ahead. I want to hear if you have an opinion on that line.
You saw that the Cowboys caught Dontari Poe today, and I think he'd be a great target for that offensive line. He's a veteran player. He's a space eater, and honestly, I think Ron makes a great point. I think he'd be a great professional for those young guys to look up to and imitate in their game and in their preparation. And as soon as I saw him cut, I think he'd make sense for the Dolphins as they make a push towards the playoffs.
If they're bringing in players and saving assets in terms of, you're bringing in a cut play, you're bringing in someone who was released, so you don't have to give up a third, a fourth, a fifth round, or whatever it may be. So this is a move I heavily endorse. Now, to move and pivot, but to keep on that same buyer or seller mindset, I do want to talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Everyone knows what's going on. I am a firm believer in, no, I do not think the Dolphins should trade him. I want to hear your opinion. Jorge, I'll start with you. Do you think, of course, with a Cowboy quarterback situation, is Ryan Fitzpatrick a candidate on the trade block?
Honestly, I think, and someone put this on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was, so I apologize, but someone said the greatest value that Fitz did, and I think it was in our group text, I think it was Sean that said his greatest value is on the Dolphin sideline. And I couldn't agree more. Honestly, I think that you're going to need that veteran leadership. Tua is a great prospect. He's a great rookie. He's a very talented young passer, but he's still a very young passer. And to have that resource on the sideline where he can go and ask Fitz and say, look, this is what I saw. What should have I done? What should have been the better play? And having Fitz, who's such a cerebral player and such a great leader, I think that's going to be the most value Dolphins are going to be able to get out of him. That being said, Jason, I must say that I think a lot of us were a bit disappointed with the press conference of Fitz. Obviously, it was heartbreaking to see him take that, but he already knew this was coming. And just to make it to make it almost as a personal slant against him. I think some people were turned off by that. I still think he's a great leader, and I still think he's going to support Tua an awful lot going forward into the season and hopefully the next.
Ron, what's your take on basically what Jorge alluded to, how it was handled, how Fitzpatrick took the news, and then basically your thoughts on whether or not he should be on that block or not?
I kind of have a different opinion, I've noticed, than what I've seen from fans. I understand why and how Fitz came off the way he did and how fans are not understanding, it's like a profession that they thought he was kind of a little bit too emotional. But if you've ever put everything into something and then it's taken away, there's even – no matter how professional you are, there's still a personal cut. But in my opinion, I think he's a good role model, leader, and teacher, especially in the quarterback room with Tua and the Senate, or I don't know if I'm gutting his name or not, but the guy we signed off a waiver wire, the young quarterback, he's on the practice squad.
Run it.
But I wouldn't throw away a trade offer, like say the Cowboys call because Dalton's out and Dak is gone. I wouldn't discount trading Fitz if, say, like we can get their backup running back. I'm forgetting it. I think his name
Tony
is Pollard.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Like Jordan Howard he's been inactive. In my opinion, he's a disappointment. He's not playing to what everybody thought he would. And Gaskins is doing great, but I think he's missing just a little bit of something. And I don't think that Laird's getting all the opportunities he should get, but we're not there at practice, so that's neither here nor there. But in my opinion, if we can get like that young running back to come in with Gaskins and Laird, and we move on from Jordan Howard, and Greta is a free agent at the end of the year, I wouldn't be opposed to, even though we're losing some veteran leadership in the quarterback room, but you're gaining that running back and it saves a spot from next year's draft. Or like say they want to give one of their 6 or 7 stellar wide receivers and we can add another piece in due to the injuries and the 2 opt-outs of Hearns and Wilson. That's just my take. But
I like the takes. I do.
Love keep Fitz. But like a trade for something that we could use, I'm not opposed to it either.
There's a level of having to see what might happen if there is a trade. If at the end of the day he's not traded, I'm 100% fine because the value of him being, like, let's call him 100% healthy for a late 30s quarterback. If God forbid Tua doesn't look great, if God forbid he does get banged up, because every football player has the chance of getting banged up, at least you have probably one of the top 2 or 3 backups in the NFL right now in Ryan Fitzpatrick rostered. So if he doesn't go anywhere, it's a win for the Dolphins. But if the Dolphins ship him out, I agree with you, Ron. I'd rather it be for someone who you could use right away instead of someone who you literally have to hit on the draft pick for it to have been made worth it. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to the Cowboys, that's such a horrible division. They're going to win the division at 6 wins. So
yes.
it would be apropos for Fitzmagic to happen. But now we have to transition to the last topic of the show. It is Tua time. It cannot be a show in any Dolphin talk this week without talking about Tua. So Jorge, going back to you, how important is this on Tua in terms of the pressure? Is this one of the most highly pressured starts for any quarterback in recent memory?
Look, let's remember how Tua made his name in college football. I mean, he came in at halftime in the national championship, taking over a player that was loved by the Alabama team, by the Alabama fandom, and he brought them back in that game and won the national championship. Obviously, I don't know Tua personally, and this is just of the way he comes off to the media, but I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he knows what he's going to be facing. It's going to be a tough matchup for him for sure. I mean, it's a tough defense. I was doing the matchup with the Rams, and that's a very good defense that we're playing against. They're going to bring the pressure. They've got Jalen Ramsey, who's a lockdown corner by any measure. And I think Tua's going to have to realize that this is not college. He's not expected to bring a team back at halftime. He's expected to take what the defense is giving him. be smart with the ball, just don't turn it over. I think that's why Brian Flores was happy to go with Tua at this point. I think Fitz, for all the great play that he had at the beginning of the season, he was turning the ball over way too much. I think Tua has to be smart with the ball. He has to put the ball where only his receiver can get it. And let's be honest, Ryan's Fitz's arm was dwindling a bit at the end. Tua's not known for having a rocket arm, but even the reports from practice can tell you that, there's a big difference between his arm and Fitz. So he's going to be able to put that ball just where his receiver can get it.
100% agreed. Ron, what's your take and excitement level on Tua?
I'm really, really excited. And I think the way the COVID affected the certain teams that tested positive and they had to juggle schedules, I think the original plan that seems to me now that how it unfolded was always going to be he was going to come in for the bye at week 11. And they were going to get the 2 weeks to prepare to get him where they can get him where they know he sees the defense and he can get his nerves if there is any nerves and just work him in that way. And when they reshuffled and we had to switch our buys from week 11 to week 7, I think it just accelerated the plan. But the plan was always there, in my opinion. But to piggy off of Jorge, I agree with what he's saying. It is a tough matchup, and especially for our young interior of the line. If Tua comes in and he holds the ball trying to play hero ball, I think it's going to be a pretty bad day.
Yep.
Because Donald is really going to test our center, Karras, and they're going to move him around to see if he can take advantage of one of the rookies or even Eric Flowers.
Good call.
So I think if we can if we pick any double team, it would be Flowers and Karras. Your guy is Donald. Just don't let him kill Tua. And then just go off of that. And I think, like Jorge said, if he can come in and he understands and just take what's there and just find the open guy. We do have guys that were open. And I love Fitz. I love his let's press it downfield, and you get magic with that, and you also get tragic with that. And with it's hard not to blame him when you have Parker that's really showing the contested catches and going up, even if he's shaded or covered, it's still a high percentage completion. And you can see how I'll just get it in there, and Parker and Williams are going to grab it. But at the same time, I'm as frustrated as a fan because I'm watching Grant come underneath clear, or he's wide open from the get-go. But Fitz is like, okay, I can get 6 off of that. But Parker's 12, I'll take the 12. But sometimes I don't think everybody understands that, like at Bama, they had Waddle and Smith that 6 yards can go 90 to the house.
Yep.
And Grant is a big, like in my article on Grant, he's just a snuff away from it's going to the house. And for me, the frustration with Fitz was I loved how he did throw it up into the coverage, but at the same time, like Jorge said, sometimes you just got to take with that open guy that they're not covering and just let the plays happen as they come. But if Tua can do that, I think we'll be fine. I think our defense is playing way better without the preseason, and now we're 6 games in. I think we made up for that time to gel with all the new pieces and the rookies and the free agents and stuff. So I think Tua time is a good time right now. I'm excited.
It's a great time, and you both mentioned excellent points. I do think that Chan Gailey, and you hear the players talk about it in all these conferences, you hear and you read the quotes that Chan Gailey puts his offense and their individual players in the best position to succeed. So that might tell me that there's going to be a lot of quick hits right out of the get-go, a lot of just getting the ball out of there very, very quickly, which might limit those fun downfield, exciting plays maybe in the immediate get-go for Tua. So I'm looking at Mike Gesicki over the middle, especially if Jalen Ramsey is going to take a Devontae Parker or Preston Williams out of the equation. I'm really going to hope to see a couple of, quick Jakeem Grant plays. See if he can turn that 6-yard play into 60 yards. Ron, you're 100% right on that. So Jakeem Grant and Mike Gesicki, I think, are the guys to circle in terms of the Tua factor. how it helps them. So I do have a massive excitement. Today, as we record, it's only Wednesday. As we air this show, it'll probably be Thursday. So there's a couple of days left to hype, to talk it up. And obviously, this is a terrific time for everybody talking about, listening, covering, whatever you want to call, writing about the Dolphins. So with that said, Jorge, I know you have some fun things on the way. Why don't you let everybody know what you're going to be doing, some of the things here at PhinManiacs?
Yeah, sure. So every week I'll be doing a column talking about the matchup, just in a very simple way. What should we expect from the Dolphins? What should we expect from the opposition? And especially what are the areas where we can improve from last week and so on. And then every Sunday after the game, I'll be doing the Jorge's Hot Takes, where we'll be talking about the game that just finished and see what the Dolphins did well, what did the other team do well, and what was the end result of that. So this week, I'm excited to see the Dolphins going up against the Rams. I've got it as a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are going to make it tough on the other team. And I think that the end result is going to come down to this. Can the Dolphins stop the run and force Jared Goff to beat them? Because the Rams are a team that are going to set up their pass by running the ball and running it down your throat. They're going to use a running back by committee, and they are one of the better teams at doing that. And the Dolphins are 30th in defense when it comes to yards per attempt. So let's see what's going on. Let's hope the Dolphins are able to stop them up in the run. And if they're able to get to Goff and force Goff to have 3rd and long, I think the Dolphins are going to win this game.
I like the prediction. Can we get you into an actual score? I know it's still a little early, but can you get a score for us yet?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an 18-14 game for the Dolphins.
Okay, I like that. A fun score right there. So thank you very much, Jorge. We're going to bring you back and obviously check out his stuff on PhinManiacs.com. Thank you, Jorge. And Ron, why don't you let everybody know what else you got coming on? Do you have a player in the queue for your next player profile?
Yes, I do. Look for Robert Hunt to come soon in the next day or two. I'm in the middle of getting everything collected for that. My prediction for the game, I'm going to go 24-13 Dolphins. I think Tua does it, and takes the offense to the next level. And I agree with Jorge. I look for the Rams to try to run by committee and try to take advantage of the slot in the center of the field, and I don't know if that's going to work for them.
Okay, well, I'm not going to deviate. I like a win, too. I do. I honestly think that when Tua comes in, I think that this particular game, it'll be low scoring. Maybe we're going to see a 21-17. I'm going to keep in the same range here. And I think Tua goes on around 16 out of 24, 199 yards. I mean, we're not going crazy stats. We want nice, efficient football, defensive football, running timely. So maybe a pair of touchdowns. I hope there's no picks. I hope it's a clean slate. But I do think we're going to see a lot of magic from Tua. And I think we're going to see the magic on the sidelines, as happy as a pig in mud watching his pupil succeed. So if there's any last words, guys, what do we got for this weekend to look? Is there a surprise that you got, Jorge?
So I think we're going to see Malcolm Perry starting.
Oh.
I think we're going to see him active this week. I think he's going to come on with Tua, and I think Liam Bowden is going to play a bigger part of the game plan this week as well.
I would love to see that.
Those are my hot takes for this Sunday, yeah.
Ron, you got any hot take for us?
Hot take, I look to see Jakeem get his biggest game of his career, maybe a touchdown or two, and over 60 yards receiving. And then I would like to see Gesicki have a big game as a hot take.
I agree with every last thing each of you said. So I appreciate you guys jumping in today. I appreciate you guys contributing to PhinManiacs. And for everybody out there, appreciate you listening. Check back more. We have a lot of fun things ahead. So for Jorge, for Ron, Jason Sarney, and the PhinManiac crew, we're out for now. Fins up, everybody.